Hey, you guys, this is WUSM in Hattiesburg, otherwise known as Southern Miss Radio. I'm Mean Willie Green in for an ailing Abby, and I'll be your host. Of course, we got Mississippi moments coming up in a little bit. Going to be talking with my program director, Miss Shania Williams, about her journey and path and all of that. So we got a good show coming up, and I hope you stay tuned. This is Southern Miss Today on Southern Miss Radio. Woohoo! All right, in USM News, sponsorship for Southern Miss Today comes from Mississippi Beverages. Mississippi Beverages provides water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mississippi Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mississippi Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online.
The NLS Braille and Talking Book Program gives patrons with visual or physical disabilities the freedom to read their way.
If you want to read in electronic Braille, you can. If you want to read on your phone, you can. If you want to read in heart print, you can.
Everybody can read the way they want to read using this program.
For more information about the National Library Service for the Blind and Physically Handicapped Library of Congress, visit loc.gov/thatallmayread.
All right. You know what's funny? I made out this show format probably 10 years ago, and I totally just skipped over and just forgot about it. Just didn't say anything over it. Anyway, starting off with the news in USM News today, starting at 12:15, so here in just a few minutes. The British Studies Program in the Cook Library, room 209A, is having a program called Time for Tea. So you can get a taste of London and learn about the summer program in London at the University Information Session. Once again, starting at 12:15 to 1. Also, huge busy day actually here on campus. So this is another great event going on. Tonight at 7:30 at Bennett Auditorium, the Symphony Orchestra presents a program featuring Joseph Haydn's Symphony in D Major, Le Matin, otherwise known as The Morning, Osvaldo Golojov's Songs for Soprano and Orchestra, featuring Meredith Johnson, and Edward Elgar's Enigma Variations. Haydn was very popular for his humor and political savviness, as he was for his genre-defining symphonies. The Morning Symphony pairs classical form with Baroque virtuosity. Golojov has been one of contemporary music's most important voices since his La Passion según San Marcos sent shockwaves around the globe. Songs feature his hallmark blending of musical styles from around the world and will be brought to life by the School of Music's own Meredith Johnson. And Elgar's masterpiece, The Enigma Variations, has earned its place at the core of symphonic literature with lush beauty, seamless craftsmanship, and a beguiling story. Moving in Hattiesburg news, Housing, Economic Resources, and Education, otherwise known as HERE, is hosting a workshop this Saturday for those looking to purchase their first home at the Jackie Dole Community Center from 10 a.m. until noon. Bankers and realtors will be at the event to guide folks through the home buying process. Get information on getting pre-approved for financing, down payment assistance, and the nerve-wracking process of closing. HERE wants to make the home buying process less intimidating for those who want to get started. Marquez Johnson of the First Bank Hattiesburg says, quote, "There are so many grants and programs that are accessible, but people have no idea about the programs or any of this stuff unless they come into a branch and speak with someone," unquote. Marquez also noted that most of the time people do have a negative connotation about going into a bank and speaking with someone, so they want to make it easier. In greater Mississippi news, Jackson Mayor Chokwe Antar Lumumba announced Wednesday that he has been indicted as part of the Jackson bribery scandal, calling it a political prosecution. Lumumba is facing 5 felony counts stemming from Hinds County District Attorney Jody Owens and his payment of $80,000 for Lumumba to take official action on the city's long-sought-after hotel development project, which is across the street from the Jackson Convention Complex. 2 FBI agents were posing as developers, and they used Owens to act as an intermediary with Lumumba for the bribes. Lumumba released a statement that read in part, quote, "To be clear, I have never accepted any bribe of any type. As mayor, I've always acted in the best interest of the citizens of Jackson. We believe this to be a political prosecution against me, primarily designed to destroy my credibility and reputation within the community," unquote. Questions remain if Lumumba will resign as Jackson's mayor or if he would remain in office. Mississippi Code Section 21-8-19 states that Lumumba must appoint a member of the Jackson City Council to assume his duties. It is not clear, however, whether an indicted but not convicted individual has the right to appoint a successor. Lumumba's term is set to end on July the 1st, 2025, and in October he announced his intention to run for a third term as mayor. In national news, actually international news, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has fired Defense Minister Yoav Gallant after many clashes regarding Israel's war efforts. My apologies. Netanyahu said the trust between him and Gallant has been broken. Foreign Minister Israel Katz will become the defense minister. Katz is not experienced in defense matters, but has served in the Israeli cabinet throughout the war. Gallant responded on X that, quote, security of Israel has been and always will be my lifelong mission, unquote. In a televised statement, Gallant said his dismissal was the result of a dispute over three issues, and that's ultra-Orthodox military service, the abandonment of hostages in Gaza, and the need for an official inquiry into the Hamas October 7th attack. Gallant said, quote, there isn't and won't be forgiveness for abandoning the hostages. This will be a mark of Cain that Israeli society bears, as well as those leading through this wrong path, unquote. Pentagon Press Secretary Major General Pat Ryder said, quote, America's interest to Israel's security remains ironclad, and the U.S. Department of Defense will continue to work closely with Israel's next Minister of Defense. And finally, the ruby slippers worn by Judy Garland in The Wizard of Oz are being auctioned after nearly 2 decades after a thief stole them. Online bidding has started and will continue through December 7th by Heritage Auctions in Dallas. The auction company received the sequined and bead bedazzled slippers from Michael Shaw, who loaned the shoes to the Judy Garland Museum in Grand Rapids, Minnesota. That is where Terry John Martin smashed through the display shortly after the shoes arrived and stole them. Obviously, they were recovered, though. Now the museum is vying for the slippers, which are one of several pairs that Garland wore during the filming. There are only 4 pair of the ruby slippers left. The auction of movie memorabilia includes other items from The Wizard of Oz, such as the hat worn by Margaret Hamilton's Wicked Witch of the West and the screen door from Dorothy's Kansas Home. I'm going to be back after these sponsorship messages with sports and weather. This is me, Willie Green, and Southern Miss Today on Southern Miss Radio. Sponsorship for Southern Miss Today comes from Mississippi Beverages. Mississippi Beverages provides water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mississippi Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mississippi Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online.
People do it everywhere.
In the kitchen,
In the bedroom,
Yes, even the park.
When it comes to your health,
there is no wrong place or time.
to get an HIV test.
Knowing your HIV status allows you to live your life.
And stay healthy.
So pick a spot.
Make HIV testing a part of your routine.
I'm doing it.
I'm doing it.
I'm doing it.
you'll be glad you did.
I'm Jamie Presley.
Jay Ellis.
I'm Ray Santiago.
I'm Terrence J.
And
I'm
I'm acting
against AIDS.
Visit cdc.gov/doing it.
I'm doing it too right now. In sports, USN Sports it is, women's volleyball today at 6 p.m. Versus Troy in the Wellness Center off of 4th Street. Men's basketball is also playing if you want to make the trek over to Birmingham, because that's who they're playing, University of Birmingham at Birmingham. That's tonight at 6:30. November 8th through the 10th here at the USM Tennis Courts, men's and women's tennis will host a UTR college tennis singles tournament. So if you want to check some high-class tennis, go check that out. In football, the Golden Eagles versus Marshall at Reed Green Coliseum this Saturday at 2 p.m. Tickets are available for the Marshall contest and other Golden Eagle home games by going online at southernmisstickets.com, by calling the USM ticket office 1-800-844-TICK, T-I-C-K, or by visiting the Pat Ferlisi ticket office. It's at the corner of 4th Street and Golden Eagle Avenue, weekdays from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. To keep up with all the Golden Eagle sports activities, head to southernmiss.com. Today's weather, cloudy, 15% chance of rain, Temperature should get up to around 85. It's going to be cloudy tonight with a low of 71. Going to be cloudy through the weekend with an up to 75% chance of rain on Sunday. Highs in the low 80s and lows in the low 70s. Looks like the hurricane that just passed over Cuba is going to veer south into Mexico, and that's too bad for the people in Mexico, but it doesn't look like it's going to hit us, which is good. So that's a good thing. And this has been news, sports, and weather on Southern Miss Today. Going to be right back with Mississippi Moments with Bill Ellison. That's produced by the Center for Oral History and Cultural Heritage here at USM. And that's coming right up after these sponsor messages. You're listening to Southern Miss Today on Southern Miss Radio.
This is Mississippi Moments, produced by the Center for Oral History and Cultural Heritage at the University of Southern Mississippi and supported by the Mississippi Humanities Council. I'm Bill Ellison. Clara Watson has many pleasant memories of growing up in Biloxi during the 1940s. She explains how the city's liberal atmosphere shielded her from the racial tensions faced by other black Mississippians.
As a girl growing up, I always remember that black and white people have always lived together in Biloxi. There was some segregation, true enough, but in the community here, black and whites have always lived together. And I think by being maybe close to the water and on the coast, it was more liberal than the other part of Mississippi. We went wherever we wanted to go. Of course, when the city hall sat in the middle of Main Street, there were two fountains, one black and one white. To me, it was just like a part of life because we went to the beaches, and I guess I never really realized there was that much segregation on the beach until the northern whites, meaning northern Mississippians, when they started coming down here, they felt that the black people were living too good, and they wanted to try and segregate it as much as they possibly could.
Bill Ellison hosts Voices of Our People World War II, a new podcast from Mississippi Moments, sponsored by the Mississippi Humanities Council. That's Voices of Our People World War II, wherever you get your podcasts.
Thank you so much for that. Does sound like indeed Clara had a really good time in Biloxi. Let's see. Got Miss Shania Williams, Program Director, under me here at Southern Mississippi. We're going to talk with in just a minute. It's going to be right back after these sponsor messages on Southern Miss Today. Sponsorship for Southern Miss Today comes from Mississippi Beverages. Mississippi Beverages provides water, water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mississippi Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mississippi Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online.
In Southeast Mississippi, we stand united for the most vulnerable in our community. Become a game changer and volunteer by calling United Way of Southeast Mississippi at 601-545-7141. We have one life. To live better, we must live united.
And we're back on Southern Miss Today. Good afternoon to everyone out there. I hope you're doing well. Guest in the studio today is my program director, my student program director, who's worked with me for a year and a half? 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years.
Something like that. Shania Williams. Welcome, Shania.
Hey, guys.
So why did you decide to get involved in radio? Most young people, I shouldn't say most, a lot. Many young people kind of ignore radio. They think, oh, no one listens to the radio because everyone's wrapped up into their phones and everything else. But you said, I'm interested. What led you there?
So at first, it was just because I wanted to get my feet into something, just try something out. But then after doing the job, it made me feel like, because when I was little, I don't know if this is anybody else's experience, but when I used to have to ride to school, we always listened to, what is his name? No, we listened to Tom Joyner, but we used to listen to Ricky Smiley too, and we also used to listen to the Steve Harvey Show. So in the mornings, that was like what my mornings were like. Anytime we traveled anywhere, that's what we listened to outside of like Sirius XM. Mm-hmm. In the morning when we're traveling, we'll listen to Ricky Smiley or we'll listen to Steve Harvey. So when I first started doing it, it was just because I wanted to try something out. But then when I actually started seeing how radio worked, it took me back to when I was a kid and trying to figure out how these people are playing through, how they are on my radio right now. Like, what's this like? So
Right.
that's what it was for me.
So a lot of it for you was actually getting to see what's behind the curtain, because a lot of people don't really understand a lot about radio. They hear it, it's in their car, or like you said, you use it going on family, but many people don't know what it takes to actually put a radio show on. So it's you kind of like looking behind the curtain, right?
Yeah.
So what do you think about the radio thing?
Radio is pretty cool. I think the coolest part for me is that there's no set schedule. Nothing really works one way.
Yeah, everything is different.
Yeah, because it's very chaotic. Like, one day you can come in and everything is all fine and everything goes as planned, and then the next day you can wake up and not have a host or a guest. Like, that's just what it is. Or you can wake up with 2 or 3 guests. So that's just how radio is, and that's what I like about it. It's not one set program. Like, it's not one set way it's ran. It's not one set way that we do stuff. We don't always have to have everything on the person, or sometimes we have nothing on the person. So that's what I like about it. It's not one set thing.
Right. I think that's I think it's better to be prepared, but it's also good to be able to improvise when an ad lib when you have to, because thinking on your feet with television, it's very scripted and standard because you got the cameras on you, you got everything in here. But see, nobody can see us. Well, except the people on YouTube, if they can check us out streaming or whatnot, or see the shows afterward, they can sort of see what we do. But even those people look behind the scenes, and there's hand signals, and there's all kind of things going, stop, stretch, go, wrap it up, let's go to something else, and trying to be seamless in the middle of all that chaos, as you mentioned. I kind of think in a little bit that it's kind of a disservice. So I got Sebs, the engineer over there, and Adeline's producer, and you got Michaela here doing video producing, you working on imaging and program directing and that sort of thing, right? A lot of times when people get out of here, when they go into a radio station, they're not going to have all those people. So if you're going to do a show, you're probably going to be your own producer, engineer, you're going to be the talent, you're going to do the booking and everything like that. So I think it's a good way to dip people's feet into the pool without making them jump headfirst into the deep end, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's tempting sometimes to just say, "All right, go make it happen," and just watch people just like, So, and you've had a little bit of that. I mean, not too much. I've generally tried to be pretty
it ain't been
hands-on
too
or
bad,
whatever.
but it do be sometimes we like, dang, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, well, that's part of the thing, right?
But then when you figure it out, it was like, I don't know, but I like high pressure situations too. So I like being thrown out in the water and like figuring it out.
Right.
Because either you're going to drown or you're going to swim.
Yeah, sink or swim, it's definitely part of that. But I think that a little bit of that in a situation that's not, dire. I mean, no one's gonna die if we do a radio show wrong.
Right.
Or something like that. But in a situation where the stakes are kind of low and you can sort of have to put your problem-solving hat on to figure out how to get by. And hopefully when you can solve one problem, then going to the next problem and solving that is going to be easier because maybe you can look back on what you did before. You seem to like, and I could be wrong about this, but you seem to be like doing the live remotes, kind of being out in the public. Would that be fair to say?
Yes. So doing live remotes for me, first of all, it gets me out of the studio. Because sometimes being in the studio can be boring if there's nothing going on for real.
Right.
But also, I like being able to go out, not necessarily talk to the people, because I'm not really the person that's talking for real, but it's more of I can go out and I know I can do a thing. And it's cool because people are walking up asking questions as the show going on, or after we get off air. Oh, I heard y'all did a live remote. How did that go? You know what I'm saying? It's one of those kind of things. It's not really, it's the people interaction, but it's not with the actual guest or with the actual host. It's with the community, what you see around you.
Yeah, building that relationship with the community and the station. Because, I mean, a lot of times students don't really think that they're like, well, I'm representing me, but the reality is you're representing the radio station and the university and the Student Media Center, and all parts of it kind of go together. So, you know, people aren't going to separate them. And that's, I think it's good for people to get used to that, especially if they're going to go into media, because you're going to have people all the time wanting to take of your time, or, you know, if they're not trying to get something from you, they're just trying to, you know, the thrill, I guess, of rubbing up against a star. You know, oh, that person's a star. It's like, okay, you know, whatever. But that's going to always be a part of it. And yeah, being with the public and dealing with the public is can be challenging for sure. One of the things, and this is me, because I'm Mean Willie Green. I'm who I am. I'm fairly demanding of you guys. Would you say that?
Yes.
You think that's a good thing or a bad thing?
Yeah,
you can hurt my feelings and tell me that
no,
I suck.
it's not that it's a bad thing, because I think it's a really good thing, because it keeps us, we have to continue to be on our toes. But sometimes it just gets challenging because you also have life stuff going on. And so it's like, I have this going on, but I got to go do this because this is what my job is. And so it can be challenging. But I do like that you keep us on our toes. I do like that.
Yeah, well, I try. I try not to be mean, but I try to be direct as well. I mean, you know, I guess the old quote is, doesn't suffer fools gladly, although no one comes in acting a fool, so that's a good thing. Have you looked at possibilities employment-wise when you get out of it? Because you're going to have to graduate. You're leaving in December, and so you won't have your bright face around here after that. You know, unless you come back to visit. Have you considered where, when, how, what you're going to do after that? Have you thought about it?
So listen. I really like radio, right? But there's not really, you don't really make money in radio.
You do in sales.
Yeah, it's sales, and I'm not a good salesperson. I can barely sell you a piece of gum. So I don't think I do too well in it. So what I've been looking at is live sound, doing something in live sound, or even just getting my foot in the market. Like, me and my brother sat down, I think that was about a month ago, and we were just looking at like jobs in different streams of media. And so I seen something about running a switcher for news and things of that nature. So just trying to get my foot out there and network to get to where I'm trying to go.
Right. Where would you do that? Or have you even looked further? Where was that job that you saw with the switcher thing? Do you recall?
So I seen, so they said New York and Connecticut. I'm not going to New York and Connecticut. But I did see Atlanta, Georgia. We looked in Florida, in Orlando, and we looked at North Carolina. I think it was Charleston, if I'm not mistaken.
Charleston's a cool town, cool place.
So
but,
we
you know,
looked
can't
there.
beat Atlanta either as far as media goes. I think as far as a southern city, Atlanta's got more going on than pretty much anywhere. I mean, Atlanta and Nashville. Nashville's got a lot of cool stuff going on, too. But it's more tech-oriented and really less media-oriented, whereas Atlanta's got a huge hub full of media of all different types, for sure.
So that's where I have been looking. Once again, I'm not opposed to New York. I just don't want to go to New York because first of all, there's too many people there.
A lot of people there. A lot of people in New York.
Because I'm not too fond of walking, and I don't like traffic. So I don't think New York would be my thing. Neither do I think Connecticut either. But, I mean, it's one of those things wherever I get a job in the market, or wherever I get a job, period,
right.
that's where I'm going to
Yeah,
go.
so a lot of times, you know, first jobs end up not being in the most ideal places or in the most ideal atmosphere sometimes. But it's a first job. It doesn't mean you have to stay there forever.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. Could you recommend, or would you recommend students becoming involved with the Student Media Center up here in some aspect, whether it's radio, prints, or SNPV or creative or something like that? Do you think that's a good thing, a good experience?
Yes. I have learned so much in the last 2.5 years. I think I've been here for 2.5 years. Yeah, because I started the fall of 22. So yeah, I think I've been here for 2.5 years. I do think it is somewhere good to start for anybody that's that's a journalist or that's in any of the MEA programs, because you learn so much. You learn more hands-on here than you will just sitting at home.
Right.
Or than you will, in my opinion, in anywhere else. Because for journalists, you have to be multifaceted. So you have to write for the prints, you have to do radio raps, and you also have to write scripts sometimes. You have to do video. So it teaches you all these aspects. Not saying that you wouldn't learn in class, but you actually have to put them to work. As far as engineering, it puts you in different settings. So we have some engineers that have worked with the news aspect as well. And news is a little more of a high pressure situation, because typically in a regular newscast, there's no second takes.
Right.
If you have technical difficulties, that's just what you have. If you don't press this song at this time, you just might have somebody yelling at you. But it's not because they don't like you.
Right.
It's just because they want you to do the thing and they want you to do it correctly.
Get it, yeah.
Right. But I do think, and as far as video, it's a lot that you can learn up here. And it's a lot that you can teach. Because if you know how to work a camera, a lot of people don't know how to work cameras.
Mm-hmm.
So if you come up here and you thrive in making packages, or you even just thrive in working the cameras, then that's what you do. And then you can also help out with creatives. Because creatives do their own thing. They make PSAs and all that kind of stuff. So it's a lot that you can do up here. There's a lot of experience. And it's not only in one specific place. You can dip your toes in everything.
Mm-hmm.
If you come early enough. And then if you come like I did, you can still dip your toes in everything.
Yeah, certainly I would say the earlier, the better. The sooner you get involved, the sooner you start networking with other people, then you can get more experience with other things and having that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Thanks for being a guest and for being around and working with us and working for me over the past couple of years. It's been a challenge, but it's always been good.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
It ain't been terrible.
Well, that's good. I appreciate that. And I'll pay you later for all the kind words there as well. So coming up in a little bit, in just a second, we've got Nishanikra Puckrell, and she's going to be reporting on the Pain Center. We're going to take care of that stuff, sort of thing. I'm Ian Willie Green. You're listening to Southern Miss Today on Southern Miss Radio.
For Southern Miss Student Media, I'm Nishanika. Every time I went to the gym, I joked that it was named after Pain because it was a pain to go there. But no, it is named after one of USM's biggest funders, Jimmy A. Payne. Jimmy Payne, a dedicated Southern Miss alumnus from the class of 1964, has left a lasting mark on the university through its generous support. Some of the major infrastructures that Payne had shaped are Payne Center and Moffitt Health Center. Since Payne's passing in 2015, his children Jonathan Payne and April Payne Nall have been continuing his legacy. This year, the Jimmy A. Payne Foundation awarded $502,689 to Southern Miss to enhance its student environment. The grant will fund 17 vital projects across the campus. The latest round of funding from Jimmy A. Payne Foundation will support a wide range of projects. In academic affairs, it will provide financial support to students in need. The GAP Scholarship, which is funded by Jimmy A. Payne Foundation, is awarded to students in need, and the total grant and total grant recipients depend on how much grant is awarded that year. The scholarship is intended for juniors and seniors who need to finish college. Dr. Ashley Burnside, the director of the Center for Student Success, explains that the scholarship fills the gap between federal financial aid and what the student needs.
The intention of going and providing them basically financial assistance with what is basically there to be funding between what they have, a student is going and receiving for financial aid through their federal award scholarships and such, and then the gap that is in existence to subsist and live and do what they need to do as a student.
The funds will support several initiatives across campus. These include the Apple Design Lab, the Student Accessibility Services Testing Center, the Wellness Eagles program, and so on. The College of Business and Economic Development will use the funds for the hatchery, while the College of Arts and Sciences will benefit from the renovations to the USM Dance Studio. The grant will also help EHS Nest, the graduate school, and the library. Stace Mercier of the USM Foundation states that the impact of Jim's legacy resonates with every student, faculty member, and staff. For Southern Miss Student Media, I'm Nishanika.
All right. Thank you. Hey, man, you've been listening to Southern Miss Today here on Southern Miss Radio. I mean, Willie Green, and for the ailing Abby, who I hope will get over the flu pretty quickly. I do want to remind you a couple of different things, though. Stay calm, ban the bomb, kiss your mom, and keep the faith, because somebody out there loves you. I guarantee it. It's me, Willie Green, having fun in WUSM, Southern Miss Radio, and I'm out. Bye-bye. Sponsorship comes from Southern Beverage, your local Michelob Ultra distributor. Michelob Ultra has significantly fewer carbs and calories per serving if you are watching those in your diet. You can reach Southern Beverage by phone at 601-268-9111, or you can find them on the internet at southernbeverage.com. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri, and Southern Beverage ask you to please drink responsibly.